All right, so we're going to start a new unit called matrices, okay? And you've never seen a matrix, probably. But this is stuff you see on the ACT. It's very important, matrices is, okay? So we're going to do a day of introduction so you get to know the vocabulary and just little tiny things, okay? All right, so the notes are pretty long, but I think I get through them quickly. So a matrix is an array of numbers. Matrices is the plural version of matrix. Okay, so if you hear me say matrices, that means there's more than one. A matrix is just one. This is what the matrices look like. Okay, they are, like I said, an array of numbers. All right, and they're just ordered by rows and columns. Okay, so that's really all it is. All right, and you have brackets around them. All right, now a matrix is labeled by using a capital letter. So you'll see a capital letter and you'll see it equaling the matrix. And that's how we label it. So we would call this matrix A, all right? Now, a matrix is organized. It organizes numbers or elements. We're going to use the word elements, okay? But the elements are just the numbers inside the matrix, okay? It organizes the elements into rows and columns. The rows and columns are what make up the dimensions of a matrix, all right? Now, your rows go left to right, and your columns go up and down, all right? So if you look at this image, these are rows, and then these are columns, okay? All right. Now, you find the size or order. Delta Math uses the word order. You can use either one, all right? But when Delta Math asks you the order, it's asking you just the dimensions. That is all that means. So size and order just means the dimensions of the matrix. Okay? So if you look at this matrix right here, I want to know the order of it. And we would say it's a 2 by 3 because it is rows. So this is a 2 by 3 because it is rows by columns. Okay? And it's read 2 by 3 because that's not a multiplication sign. That is just 2 by 3. Like, you know, you get a piece of wood 4 by 4. That's how it's written. Same thing with matrix. Okay? So what I want to do these next problems is I want to find the order of these matrices. All right? So remember, it is rows by columns. So there are 2 rows here, and there are 3 columns. So it's a 2 by 3. There is 1 row here and 2 columns. There is 2 rows and 2 columns. This is a special matrix that we're going to talk about. This is 3 rows and 3 columns. This is also special matrices. This one is 2 rows by 4 columns. This is 3 rows by 1 column. This is 1 row by 3 columns. This is 3 rows by 2 columns. And this is 2 by 3. And then this one's going to be another 2 by 2. Okay? And that's all it's asking when it asks for the order or size or dimensions of a matrix. Okay? All right. It took me longer to make this note sheet than it is going over it. Now, the numbers inside, we kind of said a little bit earlier, the numbers inside of a matrix are called the elements. And each element has a certain position that we label with the row and the column it is in, okay? So if you look, all of these are elements, the 1, 3, 0, -2, 6, and 4. Those are the elements of that matrix. Now, sometimes I want to know what is in a certain position, okay? So we will refer to that specific entry by special tagging system. It's based off the rows and the columns, okay? So if I want to know the entry of A sub ij, I is the ith row and the jth column, okay? So if you look over here in example, I want to know the entry A11. Well, this is matrices A, okay? And if you look, 1, 1, it is the first row, first column. First row, first column. Okay, that's where that comes from. Here is A2, 1. That is the second row, first column. Second row, first column. Okay? Here, A3, 1. That is the third row, first column, which is 0. Okay, so the first little number is your row, the second little number is your column. Okay, now a square matrices, it is the special matrices that I was talking about up there. It is a special matrices because it is a square. Okay, you can do a lot with your square matrices. Okay, so a 2 by 2 is a square matrices. Like I said earlier, a 3 by 3 up there. All right, this is a 3 by 3, and it's also a square matrices. Okay, a 4 by 4, 5 by 5, 6 by 6. I think you're getting the pattern. Now, what is special about it is that we will be able to find the determinant of a square matrices, but we're going to do that later in this unit. Okay, but just remember, determinants can only be with square matrices. That's why they're special. Okay, all right, and that is actually it for the intro to matrices. And I will do a video showing well, I can just do it in this one. This one isn't that long right now, so let's go ahead and do it. So if you go to Delta Math, you have 2 assignments, okay? One assignment, it's one assignment with 2 different things. The first one is going to be to determine the order of the matrices. And remember, the order is just your rows by columns. So if you look, let's see here, let's exit that. So if you look, it's rows by columns. Let's screenshot it so I can write on it. You know how I like to do that. All right, so I'm going to say it one more time. So determine the order. The order is your rows by your columns. So this has 3 rows and it has 4 columns. So this would be a 3 by 4. So we would type 3. We would say 3 by 4. And that's all you have to do for this section, okay? The next one is going to be the element, identifying the elements of the matrices, okay? So let's screenshot it. So it wants me to find, let me get the right color. It wants me to find the value of the element D52, okay? Now, D52, D is the name of the matrix, the 5 is the row, and the 2 is the column. So it is saying on the 5th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th row, second column, what number is there? -6. So you would go and you would type -6. Okay? All right, so let's do one more. Okay? So let me exit. Hold on. I need to exit that one out. Lord have mercy. It won't let me do it. There it goes. All right, so we're going to go back, screenshot it. All right, so this one wants me to find the element in C45. Okay, so that's saying row 4, column 5. Okay, so row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this row, column 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no 5th column, is there? If there is nothing, if there's not that row and if there's not that column, then there's no answer, and we hit the undefined button, and that's your answer. Okay, so that's when it can be undefined, is if that row or column does not exist. So see how it says that row, that there exists no column 5, so therefore the answer should be undefined. Okay, so that is what you're doing today in Delta Math. Let me know if you need any more help, but that is Introduction into Matrices.